Welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Norlene Ebel-Ame with the news. Let's begin the broadcast in the State House, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the posting of 3 ambassadors designate out of the 68 confirmed by the Senate last December. Special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, in a statement said the President has confirmed the postings of Ambassador Ayodele Oke as the ambassador designate to France and Colonel Latif Are as the ambassador designate to the United States of America. Also confirmed by the President is the posting of Ambassador Amin Delhatu, former ambassador to South Korea, as the High Commissioner designate to the United Kingdom. In a memo to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, President Tinubu urged the ministry to notify the governments of the 3 countries about the ambassadors designate in accordance with diplomatic procedures. In other news, Vice President Kashim Shettima has advocated for homegrown solutions to Africa's economic problems, emphasizing innovative approaches for growth, development and prosperity on the continent. The Nigerian Vice President stated this at a high-level Accra Reset Initiative meeting held on the margins of the ongoing 2026 World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, saying Africa is now the pulse of the world's demographic and economic future. The Nigerian Vice President welcomed the vision of the Accra Reset, organized by the President of Ghana, John Mahama, describing the initiative as a bold re-imagining of Africa's shared future built through African-led cooperation and rooted in sovereignty and self-definition.
We are offering you a high-quality, cost-efficient and scalable extension of your own workforce, as well as investment to continually develop such workforce. And I can imagine the question in every CEO's mind here: can we trust the infrastructure? Can we trust the data? As a government, we understand that trust is the new currency. That is why the Tinubu administration did not invest just in skills. We invest in digital security and standards.
And this is why Africa must be responsible for its destiny. Today, we face a different pandemic, the pandemic of unfulfilled potential. Millions of young people have no jobs, health systems that collapse at the first crisis, economies that extract our resources but build nothing long-lasting.
That is why the Accra Reset has come to be, to inspire leaders to stop complaining about the system that has changed or is changing, and to build a way through it. Across much of Global South, you see a similar distressing pattern.
State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that the essence of the forum is to galvanize support for governments in Africa to rethink their strategies for transforming economies and address the numerous challenges confronting the people. The federal government has promised to support the Yakubu Gowon University, formerly known as University of Abuja, to uphold standards and align its operational capacity of impacting knowledge with global requirements. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, gave this assurance when he received the management of the university, led by the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Hakim Babatunde. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Assure you of the commitment of this ministry to to help the University of Abuja or the Yakubu University wherever it is possible to do so.
To sustain the university's standard of impacting knowledge and boost human capital development, the newly created Faculty of Media and Communication, with more than 1,000 students, will be the first beneficiary of the ministry's wealth of knowledge and services.
Seasoned broadcasters and eminent media gurus like your good self will give us some form of institutional support to help us to thrive, especially now we are heading towards our accreditation.
And I assure you that we'll continue to serve you, we'll continue to make our doors open for you. And when it comes to the issue of facilities, let me assure you that we'll look at that and see how we can support this faculty to grow.
Reforms in education, including the establishment of the International Media and Information Literacy Institute, are to strengthen institutional capacity as catchment areas to sanitize the nation's media ecosystem.
And in an age where you have misinformation, disinformation and fake news all over the place, and again with the challenges of AI, there must be some capacity for people to discern what is good news and what is not, what is fake news and what is real, so that it will enhance people's capacity to really understand what is being churned out.
This collaboration is to seek support and encourage community service to raise the university's academic standard in line with global demand. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Elsewhere, hard reforms are beginning to show results in Nigeria as inflation eases, the currency steadies, and investors take a second look at Africa's largest economy. In this report, Musa Abubakar reviews the key monetary reforms that shaped 2025.
The year 2025 marked a turning point for Nigeria's monetary policy, defined by firm inflation targeting, deep market reforms, and renewed confidence in the economy. The monetary policy rate was maintained at 27%, underscoring the bank's resolve to tame inflation and anchor expectations. Inflationary pressures, driven by earlier exchange rate adjustments, food supply shocks, and structural bottlenecks, gradually eased.
We are seeing consecutive disinflation. We are pleased. But I want to say something for the avoidance of doubt, and that is that our goal is for single-digit inflation. That's our goal. Okay, and that is something that we are very resolute on, and we will not stop until we get there.
By the final quarter of 2025, headline inflation moderated to 14.45%, reflecting the impact of sustained policy tightening. The central bank's message in 2025 was unmistakable. Price stability remains the primary mandate. To reinforce its stance, the CBN intensify open market operations, mopping up excess liquidity and curbing speculative demand, interest rate transmission, and strengthen monetary control across the financial system.
We have seen renewed investor confidence, supported by recent upgrades by the credit rating agencies, with the latest being S&P Global, which revised our rating from stable to positive.
Foreign exchange reforms remain a major pillar of policy in 2025. The willing buyer, willing seller FX framework was strengthened, while the Nigeria Foreign Exchange Code set new ethical standards for market operators. Nigeria's external reserves have grown to over $45 billion, enough to cover 10 months of imports, boosting confidence in the naira and the broader economy. In the banking sector, a recapitalization program took center stage, with 16 banks meeting new capital thresholds, reinforcing financial stability. Nigeria's monetary policy story is one of discipline, reform, and cautious optimism, anchored on inflation targeting, stronger reserves, and steady economic growth. In Abuja, Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
In a related development, one of the nation's fastest growing subsectors in the non-oil economy is the leather industry, which is now serving as a vista for boosting Nigerian economy. Correspondent Yusuf Jika reports that this came to the fore during a facility tour at the Nigerian Institute of Leather and Science Technology embarked on by the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Nigerian
Institute of Leather and Science Technology under the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology is receiving a pat on the back by the Livestock Development Ministry owing to upgrade, expansion and quality of Nigerian leather in line with international standards.
We've always been looking outside and we have developed a long neck because we have been always looking across our borders. We need to come back home and then focus on what we can do. We have enough opportunities and this government under the able leadership of Mr. President is ready to support us.
We will expect improvement in the production of livestock, improvement in consumption, and therefore the need for also increase in the number of leather and leather product technologies.
Minister Idi Meha had earlier engaged with the management of the National Animal Production Research Institute in Shika, where he rolled out plans to partner with livestock global giants to fast-track production processes in line with Nigeria's broader livestock reform agenda. The minister, alongside Special Advisor to the President and Coordinator, Presidential Livestock Reform Initiative, Professor Atahiru Jega, toured facilities in Napri and expressed commitment to ensure that facilities are optimally utilized to enhance livestock productivity and national food security. In Kaduna, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government has pledged to support agriculture and infrastructure development across universities nationwide as part of efforts to strengthen food security, reduce poverty and drive economic growth. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Aliu Abdullahi, who hosted a delegation from the Federal University of Education, Kontagora, said the ministry's intervention in tertiary institutions would focus on practical, hands-on agricultural training and profitable entrepreneurship, capable of producing a new generation of agripreneurs. The minister also expressed concern over the decline in agriculture teachers, noting that the situation prompted the formation of the Young Farmers Club YFC, a youth-focused initiative aimed at making agriculture attractive to young people through practical skills, modern techniques, and leadership development. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to tackling ecological challenges nationwide. Secretary to the government of the Federation, George Akume, gave the assurance when he received the Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Ladoja, in Abuja. Shehu Muhammad Datti reports.
Secretary to the government of the Federation, George Akume, received the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Ladoja, in a meeting of administration and tradition. The Olubadan appealed for federal aid to tackle Oyo State's ecological challenges.
I try to persuade the federal government to please come to our aid in solving the problem. Because a lot of houses, there's no time, there's no rainy season that is used. There's always something that is happening. So that is why I'm here to plead with the federal government through the SGF to please help us solve the problem.
The SGF assured federal support, affirming ecological challenges are a national priority for the Tinubu administration.
So much progress has been made and is being made. Sometimes people don't believe that these achievements have been chalked up in less than 3 years. But that's the kind of captain we have in charge. Thank you for finding time to be here.
The visit underscores about the land's commitment to national cohesion. In Abuja, Shehu Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
From Works, Minister of State for Works, Bello Mohamed Goronyo, has given fresh assurance that the long-awaited Abuja-Kaduna Kano Expressway will be completed by April 2027, a development expected to boost connectivity, trade and economic activities across Nigeria's northern corridor. The assurance was given at a meeting of political appointees from the Northwest region. Ekenendulue reports.
The gathering celebrated the energy and commitment of the youths, widely acknowledged as a driving force behind the party's success at the polls. Beyond campaign promises, political leaders highlighted what they described as concrete achievements of the current administration.
Prior to the advent of Nail Fund, when school resumes, all of us will be having palpitation. People from your constituency will be calling you registration, fee registration.
We have rules that are being taken. We have a lot of things that we can say about this government, and we will say it. We are ready for the campaign, and we know the thing is set.
Northwest gave the most votes. I want us to recognize the value of what we bring. We're a vote basket, and we must retain that.
The APC national chairman and the Minister of State for Works used the occasion to rally members to actively participate in the ongoing nationwide APC membership registration.
We want to know our party members. We want to put face to those names that we keep hearing. We have found a president that is committed for the unity of this nation, that is committed for the progress of this nation.
The event also provided an opportunity to recognize members of the 2023 Northwest Presidential Campaign Council for their dedication and contributions. In Abuja, Ekenendulue, NTA News.
In a similar news, the Renewed Hope administration's commitment to sustainable infrastructure development has continued to attract widespread commendations from key sectors in the road sector. The latest of such commendations came from the national media team on a tour of the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway Legacy Project in Sokoto State. Usman Zubairu has more.
The Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway, spanning over 1,008 kilometers, is a transformative project set to revolutionize Nigerian transportation landscape, boosting trade, opening new economic corridors, and strengthening ties between the country's northern and southern regions. So far, significant progress has been recorded, starting with the kilometer 108 in Katem village. The construction company handling the project is working on reinforcing concrete pavements in addition to the installation of solar street lights. In Kebbi State exit, over 135 kilometers artwork have been completed. Our construction work has an achieved appreciable level. Project teams promise to ensure that the highway meets world-class standard.
I'm doing about 500 meters of stabilization per day. Then I'm doing prime as well with it. And then my CRCP, I'm just waiting for my second batch plan to start.
And we are always encouraging you to continue with the effort you are making to ensure that this project completed a stipulated period of time.
Initiative federal government's intervention in the road sector. Usman Zubairu, NTA News.
From Sokoto, we take you to Makurdi, where the ongoing construction of the Makurdi-Otukpo 9th Mile Dual Carriageway has seen significant progress over the last few months, raising hopes for reduced travel times and improved transportation efficiency in the region. Blessing Omeche-Bute sampled the opinions of Makurdi residents and now completes the report.
The construction of the Makurdi-Otukpo 9th Mile Dual Carriageway project, which aims to improve transportation infrastructure in the region, has been met with a mixture of excitement and varying expectations concerning its impact on local economies and community connectivity. Residents of Benue State have expressed enthusiasm and optimism regarding the ongoing project, which they described as a game changer that will not only ease traffic congestion, but will also enhance the movement of goods and services.
We thank God for this is the first flyover in Benue State. It's very appreciative.
It's a good thing they are doing for us. This thing go well for everybody.
But when you get patient, you enjoy it.
It is different strokes for different folks, as some residents have raised concerns regarding the duration of the construction and impact on daily life.
Because of the dust, no market, and we that we are selling here, Makata, we know they feel comfortable.
As the project continues to progress, community leaders and residents alike are closely monitoring developments, looking forward to the long-term benefits that the improved road infrastructure promises to deliver. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
Still staying with the Blessing Omeche Ebute in Makurdi, she joins us live at the 9th Mile Dual Carriageway with an update. Blessing, what more can you tell us on this construction?
Thank you, Nolin. Work is ongoing on the Makurdi-Otukpo 9th Mile Dual Carriageway, as about 120 kilometers have reached binder cost level, while 50 kilometers already at wearing cost stage. Other key milestones achieved so far include subgrading work on multiple sections and asphalt laying on one side of the road. This is expected to be completed before March 2026. For the Otukpo Township session, massive work commenced after the Yuletide, and the contractor has been directed to finish that session by June 2026. And on the issue of compensation, the Benue State government has paid over 4.6 billion naira in compensation for structures and utilities from Wurukum roundabout to Orokam in Ogbadibo local government area. Despite these achievements recorded, some challenges like relocation of pipelines and electricity poles remain the main bottleneck. The project is jointly funded by China Exim Bank and the federal government. When completed, the project will link the north-central states and the north-central states to the southern part of the country. This will cut travel time and boost agricultural trade and stimulate commerce. Over now to Norlin for the continuation of Nationwide.
Very well, Blessing Omeche Ebute. Thank you for your contribution from Makurdi. From there, we take you to the courtroom in River State, where Justice Florence Fibire-Sema of Oigbo High Court of River State, sitting in Port Harcourt, has adjourned indefinitely the suit filed by Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu, challenging the impeachment processes against them by the Speaker and 26 other members of River State House of Assembly, as well as the Clerk of the House. The lead counsel to Martin Chike Emeule and 27 other House of Assembly members, S.I. Amin, a senior advocate of Nigeria, informed the court about the appeal which has been entered and orally applied the court to stop further hearing pending the determination of the appeal. The oral applications were not opposed by the lead claimant's counsel, Paul Orikolo, SAN, and Lawrence Oko Jaja, who is the counsel to 28 to 30 defendants in the court, who are Oko Jumbo Sokare Goodboy and Orubeni Miniha Timothy. Ruling on the application, the presiding judge, Justice Florence Fibire-Sema, adjourned it indefinitely following the proof of two separate appeals which have been entered, a decision which she said will enable the appeal court determine the suit before it. We shall now be taking you to our Lagos Network Center, where Awal Yusuf Jibo will continue with the news presentation on Nationwide. Hello, Awal.
And welcome to Lagos. As Nigeria rolls out the newly reviewed tax laws, questions and concerns are mounting over their impact on businesses and households. In Lagos, the country's commercial hub, the focus is on what the reforms actually mean and how they differ from public perception. The report. Concentration of corporate activity in the country, Lagos remains central to the debate of tax. Authorities say corporate income tax still applies to profits, not turnover, with reliefs and exemptions for small and medium-scale enterprises.
The new rate is now for company income tax 30% today, development levy 4%, bringing everything to 34%, whereas previously we had company income tax 30%, education tax 2%, police 0.01%, and some other small percentages. But all of those have been consolidated, and I believe that from administrative perspective, it makes it relatively easy for companies to comply.
On property taxation, officials say the new laws do not introduce fresh taxes but clarify existing obligations, separating federal provisions from state and local property charges to address fears of double taxation.
The only thing that is being introduced is on the capital gain tax that has to do with proceeds on the sales of assets and property, which before now it's 10%. But has been increased to 30%.
The Nigerian Tax Act reduces the tax burden on low-income earners and in favor of increasing the tax burden on higher income earners.
At Lagos ports, excise and custom duties on specific imported goods remain targeted. Authorities say the focus is on clearer classification and administration, not blanket increases, easing concerns over price hikes. Overall, regulators say the reforms aim to improve clarity, compliance, and fairness in taxation. Away from tax matters, the Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association, NAFOA, has reiterated its commitment towards revitalizing educational infrastructure as part of efforts to give back to the society. National President of the association, Ngozi Aneke, made the commitment during an on-the-spot assessment tour of NAFOA establishments in Lagos. Lynn Leneke reports that the association is focusing on educational institutions and facilities recently returned to its association's management by the Nigerian Air Force.
The Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association's national president, Ngozi Aneke's maiden visit to Nigerian Air Force Logistics Command is aimed at strengthening welfare initiatives, enhancing interaction with personnel and their families, as well as assessing ongoing and proposed NAFOA projects within the command. The national president's first port of call was the Logistics Command, where she embarked on an educational facility tour while interacting with the teachers and school administrators. The NAFOA president expressed the association's commitment to driving both human capacity development and structural upgrade to enhance the learning environment.
We have begun to identify and strengthen practical initiatives aimed at improving the welfare of all our members, supporting the widows of our fallen heroes. These efforts are not only a demonstration of empathy, but also a reflection of our shared values. To stand in solidarity with families who have paid the supreme price in service to our nation.
We are doing our best to rectify them, to assist them, but some of them are beyond us. So we will see Oga very soon with some of our challenges. We hope that your advanced party report will something ground for us.
At the 041 Communications Information System Depot, Shasha, the president also inspected some infrastructure to gain first-hand insight into the school's operational needs. This move by NAFOA underscores the renewed commitment by the association to directly oversee, strengthen, and consolidate its legacy projects in education, healthcare, and community welfare. In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide continues with Bilkisu in Jos after the break.
Welcome to Jos.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, has applauded the strategies employed by Plateau State government in tackling emerging security challenges and consolidating peace in the state. He said this in a courtesy visit to the governor in Jos. Ijoma Ozomina has details.
The Chief of Army Staff, who is in the state for a working visit, commends the improved security situation in parts of the state as a testament to proactive leadership of the governor. He notes that the Nigerian Army, through effective coordination among critical players, is working hard to address security challenges across the country.
We are working together for a vision of Plateau State, where we can see a vision that once we go to actualize that, Plateau State will be better for everybody.
Governor Caleb Mutfwang lauded the doggedness, professionalism, and resilience of the officers and men of the Nigerian Army. He also emphasized continued collaboration in security infrastructure and welfare initiatives.
We continue to look for how to deepen non-kinetic engagements to complement the kinetic engagements that have been going on. It is true that we still have areas that we must deal with. We will continue to count on the collaboration of your officers and men.
The visit is part of efforts to foster strong civil-military relations and ongoing security operations in the state. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
To ensure adequate and effective coverage of the second phase of the continuous voter registration in the state, the Independent Electoral Commission, Plateau State, is decentralizing the registration exercise in 207 registration areas of the state. Resident Electoral Commissioner for Plateau State, Muhammad Abubakar, stated this in Jos at a stakeholders meeting on the continuation of the Phase 2 of CVR exercise in the state. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
Statistics by the Plateau State INEC office indicate that since the commencement of the second phase of CVR from 5th January 2026 to date, only 3,893 registrants, representing 22%, have so far concluded their registration in the 17 local government areas of the state. Worried by this dismal performance, INEC convened this stakeholders meeting to review the processes of the ongoing exercise with a view to charting a way forward for achieving optimal results. Relevant stakeholders bared their minds on challenges ranging from difficulty and distance in accessing registration offices to technical hitches experienced during the registration processes. They, however, applauded decision by INEC to decentralize the process.
We, on our own part, as people with disability, need to do more to mobilize our members and colleagues to go out and register.
Once they go to the wards, at least most of the people can come out.
Resident Electoral Commissioner Mohammed Abubakar engagement will enable wider outreach for registrants to increase the tempo of performance. He said registration within 50 days in all the registration areas of the state.
This is with the intention of reaching out to all and sundry that have to take this important.
Sorry for the glitches in our Jos Network Center there. And let's continue the news in Abuja. Stakeholders at the just concluded 14th National Council on Lands, Housing and Urban Development meeting held in Kwara State have adopted 62 actionable policies. The adoption, which came through a communique after several days of deliberations, focuses on achieving housing delivery. Housing correspondent Francis Udojo tells us more.
Achieving sustainable cities through effective land management, urban renewal, promotion of local building materials and public-private partnerships in Nigeria being the theme for the National Council meeting informed the adoption of the 62 actionable policies contained in the 14th National Council's communique at Ilorin. For the Minister of Housing, Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, policy reform on land use and alternative housing financing will accelerate sustainable urban development, reduce housing gaps.
Imagine all the state governors can
issue land easier, cheaper to all their state indigenous.
The council also announced a new unified housing delivery framework seeking collaboration between the federal and state governments, aiming to deliver housing at a larger scale.
All right, still talking on housing. The rising cost of rent and aggressive tactics by real estate agents are pushing people out of cities into villages. This trend is so pronounced that many who left for the holidays are unable to come back. This situation raises serious questions about the need for housing regulations in the southeast. Comfort Ayim reports on the continuous issue of house rent in Enugu and the role of agents in this unfolding situation.
The current housing market, particularly in urban areas like Enugu, has seen significant shift in recent years, marked by rising rental costs and concerns about property standards. Many residents feel that without adequate oversight, they are vulnerable to unpredictable rent hikes, poor living conditions, and opaque practices by some property agents. This has prompted a unified call for government intervention, not just as a matter of fairness, but as a necessity to retain a motivated and stable public workforce.
The issue of house rent is extremely extravagant. The worst part of it is that we are lacking water there. Yet, from 250 to 500.
Because the one that we saw today was 2.1 million package inside Nike.
Consequently, there is a growing demand for robust monitoring and regulations within the rental market, alongside proactive government policies aimed at providing accessible and affordable housing solutions.
For you to talk about this mechanism, you must have what we call policy statement approved through the institution process. And in Enugu State, for instance, we are still working on having an approved housing policy.
The rental market itself has become a source of stress, with expectations to see policies that will investigate complaints and ensure that landlords and tenants adhere to established laws and guidelines. In Enugu, Comfort Ayim, NT News.
Still staying with Comfort Ayim, she is standing by live to shed more light on the house rent situation in Enugu. Hello, Comfort.
The festive season is over, and many residents of Enugu are back to their routines, only to be met with a stark reality, a significant increase in house rent. And this surge comes at a time when many properties have seen no sign of renovations or upgrades, leaving residents questioning the justification for these stepper prices. This has led to a situation where many civil and public servants, particularly those in entry levels or mid-career positions, are dedicating an unsustainable portion of their income to rent. For instance, a room and parlor apartment, which previously cost between 400,000 naira and 500,000 naira, has now risen to between 750,000 naira and 950,000 naira and above. To address the challenges renters face in Enugu and even in the entire southeast, talking about Oka, Anambra State, Abakaliki, Bonny State, residents stressed the need for more transparent and regulated rental practices, setting limits on the amount of upfront rent that can be charged, perhaps advocating a shift towards monthly or quarterly payment. And that's all from here. Is back to the studios for the continuation of Nationwide.
Very well, Comfort Ayim. Thank you so much. Now, the Presidential Community Engagement Team recently met with the United Nations Development Programme UNDP team in Abuja to explore ways to drive inclusive development in Nigeria. The meeting focused on key areas like the UNDP's Small Grants Programme, the Integrated Smart State Programme, and how the presidential team can support UNDP's community projects. The UNDP resident representative, Elsie Atafua, praised President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's initiative in setting up the Office of Community Engagement, reaffirming UNDP's commitment to supporting Nigeria's development priorities.
When we see things is to begin to look a bit more internally and to see how we can support how we can support our people to push their development agenda forward. I don't think anybody else will do it for you. It has to be asked to do it. And so increasingly for us, a lot more focus, a bit more internal to see what is it that the government is doing? What are the reforms that are taking place? How do we accompany the government agenda in an intentional way and be purposeful about it to say.
The meeting highlights a shared goal to strengthen community resilience and accelerate sustainable development, as well as promote community participation and deliver socio-economic benefits across Nigeria. Elsewhere, the Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities is tackling some key issues affecting it, keeping an eagle eye on its protecting, making sure elections are accessible to all, and pushing for tax reforms that benefit persons with disabilities. Our correspondent on disability matters, Ngufan Shaji Ugwanyi, reports.
Gathered here at this meeting are the national leaders of disability communities in Nigeria, meeting under the umbrella of the Organization of Persons with Disabilities, OPDs. The aim is to address some major issues affecting the disability movement in the country.
As of January 2026, the use of our logo or any other related branding of Joint National Association of Persons with Disability has become a matter of critical legal compliance. Training and the capacity building of technical staff on disability inclusion, voter registration, and continuous voter participation.
The Organization of Persons with Disabilities are also advocating for equity-driven tax reforms, including zero value-added tax on assistive devices, tax exemptions on medical drugs, and corporate tax incentives for employers who recruit persons with disabilities in Nigeria. In Abuja, Ngufan Shaji Ugwanyi, NTNU.
Talking skills in line with growing efforts to promote self-reliance and economic empowerment through skills acquisition, the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, NAOA, has taken a decisive step in equipping children of personnel with relevant vocational and digital skills for today's economy.
Troops remain on the front lines, confronting insurgency and other asymmetric threats across the country. Support systems on the home front have become critical to sustaining morale and stability within military families and host communities. In complementing the efforts of troops, the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, NAOA, continues to play a vital role in empowering families through education, welfare and skills development initiatives. In furtherance of this commitment, NAOA has graduated about 202 students trained in ICT, digital skills and fashion designing.
You have acquired skills that are relevant, practical and market-driven. These skills offer you the opportunity to be self-reliant.
Have the interest of those soldiers fighting out there. Putting their children through training to acquire knowledge, to keep them busy, taking their mind off negativity within the barracks community.
The training is very impactful. It makes them to learn.
What I have learned in the past weeks will be able to help me protect my identity online.
I can use what I've learned to be self-employed, to make 1 or 2 dresses for myself and also help my family.
NAOA says it will continue to complement the sacrifices of troops by ensuring that While soldiers defend the nation, their families and communities are empowered to thrive.
On a solemn note, Kano State Governor Abubakar Yusuf has pledged consolatory support to Malam Haruna Bashir, who lost his wife and 6 children in a deadly attack allegedly carried out by criminals. The governor made the pledge during a condolence visit to the bereaved family at the Kofar Nasarawa area of Kano metropolis. Abdullahi Mustafa reports that Governor Yusuf also commended the prompt response of the police, which led to the arrest of the suspects.
Governor Abubakar Yusuf on a thank you visit to the Kano Police Command. It was to commend the Commissioner of Police and his officers for their swift response, which led to the arrest of suspects involved in the murder of a woman and her 6 children.
When I heard that, I immediately called you. And to my surprise, I advised you, please do your best to ensure that within 12 hours, the culprits are apprehended. But in less than 6 hours, all of them were arrested.
For this you are coming, we are going to triple our effort to make sure Kano become the safest in this country.
Governor Yusuf was earlier at Kofar Nasarawa in Kano metropolis, where he condoled with Malam Haruna Bashir, the husband of the deceased woman. While praying for the repose of the souls of the departed, the governor announced the donation of a new house, a hut slot and other forms of social support aimed at helping the survivor recover and return to normal life. Appreciating the governor's sympathy and gesture, Malam Haruna Bashir dedicated his personal house for the construction of an Islamia school for the benefit of the community. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
From Kano, we take you to our Enugu Network Center, where Chika Okorie is standing by with more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Chika.
Welcome, and this is Enugu Network Center. Revalidation of APC membership card in Enugu State is gaining more grants with key stakeholders from across the state participating in the e-registration. Grace Wilson Eze reports that party fed forward advice to unite and work assiduously for the victory of party candidates at all levels come 2027.
The revalidation exercise brought together APC heavyweights in Udi, who pledged their unalloyed support to APC. Leading the exercise, Chief Ugochukwu Agbala charged members to place the party's interests above personal interests, stressing the need for party supremacy.
This is the only party whose membership is non-transparent, and we are using IT and it's online, real time. Therefore, what you are doing, what the party leadership is doing, is most encouraging and inspiring.
The APC caretaker chairman, who assured that Udi will give President Tinubu 100% votes come 2027, called for vigorous grassroots mobilization and inclusivity in the party.
I'm excited to see what is going on here. When I say that APC is united and is one party, we mean it. This is what will happen when people decide to unite. When they unite to work for the interests of Enugu. Governor Peter Ndubi Simba is building Enugu State. He's making Enugu State the best state in the country.
The revalidation exercise, no doubt, is a testament of APC's relentless efforts at keeping its presence in the Southeast geopolitical zone for better political outcome in 2027. In Enugu, Grace Wilson Eze, NTA News.
That's all we'll have from here, and let's pause for a quick break. The news continues shortly in Abuja.
Next on our lineup is a sports update with Enejo Adiku as our guide.
fixtures for these weekend matches in the Nigerian Premier Football League show that Katsina United will host Plateau United. Ikorodu City are guests of El Kanemi Warriors of Maiduguri, while Niger Tornadoes battle People's Elephant Enyiba Football Club in Minna. In the English Premier League, second place Manchester City play host to bottom of the log team Wolverhampton Wanderers. Bournemouth to entertain Liverpool at home, while league leaders Arsenal to welcome a resurgent Manchester United at the Emirates. Nigeria's senior men handball team, the Golden Arrows, produced a dominant all-round display to overpower Zambia 36-18 in their second Group A match of the 25th African Men's Handball Nations Cup in Kigali, Rwanda. With two convincing victories from their opening matches against Algeria and Zambia, Nigeria have now secured qualification for the quarterfinals, strengthening their credentials as one of the tournament's most competitive sides. The Golden Arrows will conclude their Group A campaign against host nation Rwanda on Saturday, as they look to maintain their perfect run and build momentum heading into the knockout stage with the aim of qualifying for the 2027 World Championship in Germany. Finally, cycling. Edinburgh and Leeds will host the opening stages of men and women's Tour de France in 2027, with the UK government saying it will be the most accessible major sporting spectacle. 2027 will mark the first time the Tour de France, both men and women's, will ever start outside mainland Europe. With Sport Update, Eno Joadiku.
And that concludes Nationwide today. Thank you so much. I am Nolin Evel-Ame. Do have a lovely weekend ahead.